Hey, Extension friends, Nate Birt here, NTAE Key Informant. I'm just going to play around with the slides here for a minute. So today's video is on the topic of discouragement. So the last video, number 10, we talked about big life things, situations maybe within your career or in your personal life that shape how you show up as an extension professional and how to navigate those things without neglecting either your career or those you care about outside of work. Today I want to dial just a bit deeper into this idea of discouragement because recording this in May 2025, what I'm seeing a lot with the clients that I serve, and this is not exclusive to extension at all, is that we're in a very different landscape, right? In some ways, things are going great, right? We're seeing new funding opportunities coming available. We're seeing great programming work happening with clients that extension and others serve. But at the same time, there's also things that maybe didn't go as people expected, right? Or opportunities that seemed very promising are no longer on the table. And so it can be easy to dwell on the challenges and the disruption, which can contribute to discouragement. And as someone who struggled with depression for many years, I am extremely empathetic. And so I wanted to share a few things that are helpful to me. I am certainly not an expert. I would always recommend working with qualified, trained, certified mental health or other professionals who can help you navigate some of these things. But hopefully at a high level, these ideas can be reinforcing of things you've done in the past that have been effective for you, or maybe give you some new ways of thinking about navigating discouragement as an extension professional working on climate issues. All right, so let me just pull up a quick slide here. And I'll just acknowledge first off that discouragement is a reality, right? Yes, it's a feeling. Yes, it conjures up a variety of emotions, but definitely I will always want to acknowledge that this is not just something that's in your head that you're making up. And people can become discouraged for a variety of reasons, right? Something that might be very disappointing or discouraging to me might be no big deal for my neighbor or my wife or my children. So this is very personal. And so I would encourage you to spend some time in reflection, like what are situations right now that are discouraging to me, right? What I've discovered in my own life is that when something is causing sort of prolonged discouragement, that's really a plea from my body, my mind to maybe journal on those things or really give it some thought, not in the sense that I'm just like getting deeper and deeper into this state of discouragement, but really sort of mapping out, okay, exactly what is it? Like asking the 5 whys, right? Why am I feeling discouraged? Well, because this program didn't go as I planned. Well, why didn't it go as you had planned? Well, because I, did X, Y, and Z, but, the client was expecting ABC instead. Why were they expecting ABC? Well, and then ask those kinds of questions. And as you dig deeper, you may understand or gain insights around what's actually driving that discouragement, and it may be different than what you thought on the surface. But again, give yourself time to think about these things and to process, right? Before you start coming up with solutions, before you start figuring out what you're going to do next or who you're going to call, just sit with it, right? It's okay as long as you are safe and you are able to, give this some time. I think it is valuable. I think it was someone I heard once recommended, like, set a timer for 5 minutes and just be upset about it. Be frustrated, be discouraged. That's okay. And then after that, give yourself a cutoff time, right? I need to move on and start figuring out, okay, where do I go from here? What do I do next? But definitely give yourself that time. And again, we all have 5 minutes. We often don't believe that, right? I often tell myself I got these back-to-back meetings, and then I've got to jump into this project. But seriously, dedicate the 5 minutes. Give enough buffer in your schedule just to take that time, especially if you're going through something challenging. Postpone the meeting, pause the project, take a walk, do whatever you need to, and get clarity, right? Or at least work through that initial wave of emotion that comes from discouragement. The second piece would be, focus your mind first on the question after you've taken time to process. Like, ask yourself, what does this make possible, right? What I have discovered in working with my clients and working in my own business is that for every setback, for every challenge, for every really dark time, there is generally opportunity on the other side. And so you just have to sort of force yourself to ask the question, what does this make possible, right? If this program is a non-starter, if we didn't get funding, or if the program, we plan to implement it in 3 months and it's going to take 6, okay, what does that make possible, right? Maybe it gives us more time to have clarity as far as our project management plan. Maybe we can recruit another expert to be a partner in this and to really give some added perspective that will benefit our clients at Extension in the long term. So really jot down, maybe 3 to 5 things this makes possible if you really give yourself the opportunity to dream a little bit and to, again, work through that discouragement and just think clearly and objectively about what could be possible, right? Even the smallest thing could be something that gives you a little boost of energy, and it also maybe actually adds ultimately more value in the long run for your clients. Then make a plan. Give yourself a few different options. Like, what do I do now, right? Do I sleep on this before doing anything? That's always a really good one in my mind. Do I talk with someone I trust? Do I, write a note and explain that, hey, this thing happened and we're going to meet in a week and discuss next steps, right? Then, bounce it off someone you trust, right? Maybe someone who lacks a vested interest in the outcome. And really just make sure that you are open and honest with them, right? Finding someone who's not vested in the outcome is going to give you greater independence and an outsider looking in, and they may be able to help you see things in a new way that's going to be helpful to you in the long term. And then to the degree that you can, let discouragement be fleeting. Again, if you struggle with mental health like I do, definitely work with a professional, someone you trust, someone who has the qualifications to help. And in addition to that, I would say, like, if there are ways, stories you can tell yourself, mantras or sayings, things that you use to encourage yourself, to lift your spirits, use that as a way to overcome discouragement so that you can begin moving forward in a way that makes you feel whole and that helps the work of Extension progress. So my question for you today, as we close the video, what is your number one strategy for overcoming discouragement? I'd love to put together a little blog post or something for Connect Extension. So if you have recommendations or things you found to be effective, send me a quick note to natebirt@extension.org. I'll compile those. Again, if you want me to use your name, great. If you want me to be anonymous, happy to do that as well. But send me a note. I hope this was helpful to you, and be encouraged. You're doing really important work with an Extension. Keep up the momentum, keep up your spirits, and thank you so much for everything you do. I'll see you on the next video.